I may have to pick this one up. Ooh, I just saw the word cyberpunk. Having a good set of these is kind of essential. These are the 5 that are eligible for the giveaway. So what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I still have a couple of things coming in the mail, believe it or not, but I was too antsy to wait to film this video. So I've got some stationery bits for my new journals that I'm going to show you guys, and then several thrifted books for my Reading Around the World challenge. I thought I would open them with you guys, and that could be kind of a fun thing to do. I always love sitting down and getting new like stationery bits and things, refresh my journal and make things kind of exciting again. Out with the old, in with the new, as they say. So first up is my actual reading journal. I've had to turn on several lights because it's very overcast outside, so we're gonna have some weird shadows. But anyway, this is my new reading journal. This is from Leuchtturm1917. I'm sure that that is not the way to pronounce it. I used to use a Moleskine, and honestly they're almost identical, so maybe there's a difference in like the paper quality. I've heard that Moleskine is not as good paper quality as these ones, so we'll see. But anyway, this is the A5 size, I believe, in the color Port Red. They had a lot of different colors to choose from, Moleskines as well, but I prefer a soft cover, and so for whatever reason my Barnes & Noble had a lot more options in the soft cover of these ones than in Moleskine. So I'm excited for that. Something that I will be using when my bullet journal gets here, which I will put a picture of it on the screen. I think the shop owner, because it's like a small shop, must have been backed up from Christmas orders because it's taken a while for it to ship out. So this is the one I got. I love the design. I think it's really cute. There's a million different ones to choose from, so I will link the Etsy shop below. I just got 2024 put on the front, like actually printed on, kind of like I did here. Beatific Journal, I think is the shop name or something like that. That will be my go-to from pretty much here on out, I think. And when it comes, some things that I will be using in it are these. So these are mainly for whenever I actually am doing my like annotations in a book. Obviously, it is nice to have little tabs. I feel like we all use these. If you're a reader, if you like to annotate, having a good set of these is kind of essential. I don't like to mark up my books. I do tend to resell ones that I don't reread. I love these ones. And just the color of them, they're kind of like a vintage, kind of very muted colors, which is my favorite thing. I think a lot of like sticky notes and post-it notes and tabs like this tend to be bright neon colors, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just really prefer more muted colors. You're basically getting every color of the rainbow, but they're a lot more muted. You get the same colors but different types of tabs as well, which are really cute. So what I like to do is kind of find the color as closest to the color of the cover of the book that I'm reading, and find a color that kind of matches. I know that's like a, I don't know, it's not really an OCD thing, it's just like, I don't know, it makes it look more aesthetic when you have a color that matches. These are just from Amazon, as well as some washi tape, which I'm very excited for. These washi tapes are similar to ones that I actually bought off Etsy, and I saw that Amazon had a whole pack of them. So I did go ahead and buy the ones on Amazon. I really didn't see anything on Etsy, which typically I do. Etsy's like my go-to for like stickers and washi tape and stuff, but for whatever reason, maybe I'm just being really, really picky, but I didn't really find anything on Etsy. So I've got a couple of these different washi tapes. These are in the color Fog City. I think it's a set of, I don't even know how many are in here, but here's like some blue tones. But then we have it comes with 2 blacks and then like a navy blue on the end here. And then these are the ones I think I'm actually gonna use the most and like the best. There's like a brownie taupey color, kind of a gray, this pretty like very muted red, kind of a green, kind of like the color of the shirt that I'm wearing, like an army green. So I think these are the ones I'm gonna get the most use out of. Yes, they're all identical. It's the same like grid pattern, but I just feel like, I don't know, sometimes when I have bought really specific washi tapes with very specific patterns, like something with like birds or feathers, or something with mushrooms, or something that's really cutesy, it just doesn't work for every spread, and I end up like not really getting a lot of use out of it. Yeah, there's 10 total. And I like that these are just very subtle. Basically, you can just kind of pick whatever color matches with whatever photos you might be using, and it'll just all go together. Now moving on to the books that I thrifted just off of eBay. These are all for my Reading Around the World challenge. In my bookish vlog, my most recent bookish vlog, you guys saw me go through and like do some research and search for different types of books so that I can really be prepared for this challenge and not just kind of randomly pick up books throughout the year and maybe not really like them. And then I purposefully bought ones that are, you can kind of tell, they're pretty thin. I think everything that I bought is like 250 pages or less so that I can get through them a little bit more quickly. Okay, first up is, the one that I'm most excited for. This is The Membranes by Chi Tai Wei. I hope I'm saying the name right. I believe this one is originally published in complex Chinese. Yep, in Taiwan. Okay, so this one is for Taiwan specifically. So that's why I got this one. What is this? It is from a county public library, and we have an ugly, ugly sticker. This is gonna be one that actually comes off relatively cleanly, which are my favorite kind of stickers. Basically, humanity has, well, let me see if I can actually find a blurb, because I know that will do a much better job of describing it to you than I would from just what I recall. This one says, in the late 21st century, humanity has migrated to domes at the bottom of the sea to escape devastating climate change. Momo is the most celebrated dermal care technician in all of T-City, but after meeting her estranged mother, she begins to explore her true identity, a journey that leads to questioning the bounds of gender, memory, self, and reality. First published in Taiwan in 1995, The Membranes is a classic of queer speculative fiction in Chinese. I love that it's super thin. I love a good science fiction, and it's been quite a while since I've read a good science fiction book. I think for whatever reason this year or last year, 2023, it was a little bit heavier in the nonfiction area, in the nonfiction genre for me. I'm not really sure why. I didn't really do that like on purpose, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbled. So anyway, I'm very excited for this one. I may have to pick this one up. Ooh, I just saw the word cyberpunk. I may have to read this one after Neuromancer. This is one that my brother got me for my birthday. I'll just show it to you guys quickly because it is a gorgeous edition. He said he found it in Barnes & Noble, and I was just there like not that long ago and did not see this cover, but I guess there's a whole series. It's Penguin Galaxy. I guess Galaxy must be an imprint of Penguin, maybe. Anyway, this is Neuromancer by William Gibson, which I want to say is supposedly like the original cyberpunk novel that either heavily inspired Blade Runner, or because it came before Blade Runner. So if you're into that whole kind of subgenre of science fiction, then you'll probably like this one. So anyway, this is going to be my second read of the year. I've already started my first. And then if I really like it and I want another kind of science fiction-y one to follow up with, then The Membranes, I have high hopes for The Membranes because that sounds like something that I would really like. It sounds like the type of story I wish I came up with. Next up is Season of Migration to the North by Tayeb Salih. I'm probably going to be butchering these names. This one says, after years of study in Europe, the young narrator of Season of Migration to the North returns to his village along the Nile in the Sudan. It is the 1960s, and he is eager to make a contribution to the new post-colonial life of his country. Back home, he discovers a stranger among the familiar faces of childhood, the enigmatic Mustafa Saeed. Mustafa takes the young man into his confidence, telling him the story of his own years in London, of his brilliant career as an economist, and of the series of fraught and deadly relationships with European women that led to a terrible public reckoning in his return to his native land. But what is the meaning of Mustafa's shocking confession? Mustafa disappears without explanation, leaving the young man, whom he is asked to look after his wife, in an unsettled and violent no-man's land between Europe and Africa, tradition and innovation, holiness and defilement, and man and woman from which no one will escape unaltered or unharmed. Sounds very good. It's about 140 pages. This one sounds like it's going to be very emotional. Right at the end there of the blurb, there was a lot of like inner turmoil, kind of like man versus, it's not man versus nature, man versus man, man versus his own consciousness. I don't know. It sounds really interesting. Ooh, they packaged it very very well. That's nice of Michael from Ozone Park, New York to do. I never put this much care into books when I pack them. Although the ones that I'll be giving away at the end of this video, I will make sure to package well, but I don't normally do that. Oh my gosh. Okay, this one is The Palace of Dreams by Ismail Kader. Again, with these names, I really apologize because I know I'm not doing the names justice. This one, unfortunately, has one of those things that looks like a sticker, but it's not. So that's really frustrating. This won the Man Booker International in 2005. This one is for Albania, first published in 1981, which might explain the cover. It's a very particular style of cover. It's very interesting. Okay, so this one says, the mysterious Palace of Dreams stands at the heart of a vast but fragile Balkan empire. Inside, workers assiduously sift, sort, classify, and ultimately interpret the dreams of the empire's citizens. The workers search out master dreams that will provide clues to the destiny of the empire and its sultan. Mark Alam, scion of a noble family that has provided visors to the Sultan from time immemorial, and whose power the Sultan distrusts, is recruited into the Palace of Dreams at the humblest level. He immediately feels the terrible pressure that drives his co-workers, the dread of overlooking a crucial dream whose capture and interpretation might avert political disaster. But he rapidly rides through the hierarchy, only barely finding his bearings in one section of the palace's labyrinthine passages that represent the entire empire's consciousness laid bare before he is promoted to another. Sounds like really high stakes. Using dreams in a book is obviously a very kind of abstract, intangible concept, which I don't always love, but it sounds like it's going to be grounded enough in reality and in like a political system that I think I'll be able to keep up with it. So I'm curious about this one. So I've got high hopes. This one is around 200 pages. And then the fourth and final is Devil on the Cross, one of our century's great novels from, I don't know. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. This one sounded really interesting when I looked up the blurb for it, or the synopsis. And this one is for Kenya. I think something that I need to do that I should have done for a few of my other countries, like when I read for Thailand and when I read for Vietnam, I think I need to go at least on Wikipedia or something and just read like a brief summary of the political structures of those countries, so I can do that for Kenya as well before I start this one, because that is something that I think gives you a little bit of a leg up when you're reading from a country that you really don't know much about. It's a little bit tricky trying to understand exactly what's happening when you don't really understand how the political system works. It's my little thrifted stack, those 4. Now I'm going to go through and find some that I'm ready to get rid of. Now, these are not books that are bad. These are not books that I gave a really low rating to. These are books that I enjoyed, books I know I'm not going to reread. And then the kind of rules for the giveaway are subscribe to my channel, like the video, and then leave me a comment that is telling me which book that you want and then why. And then the last and final thing will be to follow me on Instagram. That is where I'm going to announce the winners a week from the day this video is posted, and then I'll DM you to get your address. It is US only for now. I know that kind of sucks. I have some people, some subscribers who are in other countries outside of the US, and maybe at like 5K or 10K, I can kind of bump it up and do an international giveaway, like kind of open it up to other countries. So I'm gonna go through and clean out my shelves a little bit and find out what books I'm gonna give to you guys. All right, I picked the ones that I'm willing to part with. We have 5 pretty good ones, I think, in my opinion. Totally different genres and everything, but these are the 5 that are eligible for the giveaway. So I'm gonna just start with what's on top, and then whatever sounds interesting to you guys, make sure you leave me a comment letting me know which one you want and why. So first we have Bury Me Standing by Isabel Fonseca. This is The Gypsies and Their Journey. So this is all about gypsy life. Basically, a journalist goes to, I want to say, Albania? Somewhere in Eastern Europe. And she basically lives with them. There's a family that kind of welcomes her into their circle, like into their family. And she lives with them, and it's a really interesting kind of to dive deep into just a different lifestyle, and she goes through all the different people, the different family members. I thought it was really interesting. This is one of the ones that is up for grabs. Next, we have a Joan Didion. Now, I love Didion. I've listened to a couple of her audiobooks as well, and a lot of her audiobooks, her nonfiction that I've read, is a little bit on the sadder side, because she does talk a decent amount about like grief and losing her husband and stuff. This is fiction. This is all the vibes. This is a lot. I don't want to say it's a lot more lighthearted, because there are some heavier issues, so you might want to look up trigger warnings on this one. But this is Play It As It Lays, and this is, like I said, it's a novel, so it's fiction. I loved this one. It says it's a ruthless dissection of American life in the late 1960s. So it takes place in Hollywood, and there's also a little bit in Vegas and the Mojave Desert. It was just all the vibes. I really did like it. The movie was kind of a snoozer, I'm not gonna lie. I did try to watch the film after this, and I just like was not, it was not compelling to me, but I did like the book. So this is another one. Then we have a nonfiction. I found this really fascinating. When God Was a Woman, by Merlin Stone. So this is talking a lot about like pre-Christian times, and all of the iconography. I think that's maybe the right word to use. It was really interesting. This book is an invitation to discover a past that has been buried by millennia of Judeo-Christian myth and corresponding social order. It says it's the story of the goddess known by many names. When she reigned in the Near and Middle East, there she was revered as the wise creator and the one source of universal order, not simply as a fertility symbol as some histories would have us believe. So it talks about the shift from matriarchy to patriarchy, which I thought was really interesting. I did really find it quite fascinating. It's a little bit, it's not long, but it is about 250 pages, and it's just more, it's a little bit more dense, and a little bit more dry, because there's just so much information, but very, very informative. Then we have my favorite book ever. So I feel like it's appropriate to give a copy away. This is 1984 by George Orwell. I want to say I've mentioned this quite a few times on my channel that it's my favorite. I have 2 copies, and I don't need 2 copies. So I'm gonna keep the copy that is a little bit more well-loved. The spine is cracked, and it's definitely kind of like an older, not as nice copy. And I don't know, I think this has been read once. I think on my reread, I read this one. Boyfriend and I, Buddy read it, I believe. So anyway, love this book, and I would love somebody else to love this book. So definitely let me know in the comments if this kind of thing, it is a little bit darker. You might want to check the trigger warnings for this one as well. It is, after all, a dystopia, so you know. But yes, of course, I have to give away a copy of 1984. And then probably the best bang for your buck, and one of the newer ones, is Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. I read this only once. It is basically a brand new copy. It is gorgeous on the inside. I don't know if this was like exclusive hardcover art. Probably so. I used that in my thumbnail, this art, for the like reading vlog that I did of it, because I just thought it was so gorgeous I couldn't not put it in there. I loved this. This is the sequel to Ninth House. So if you haven't read Ninth House, you're not gonna want to put your name down for this one, because you're not gonna know what's going on. Ninth House was excellent. I loved it. It is like one of my top tier dark academic favorites. So anyway, this is the sequel to that. So if you've read Ninth House and loved it and just haven't managed to get your hands on this one yet, then Hellbent is also available. All right, I think I showed you everything. So, like I said, if you guys want to be eligible to win one of these 5, tell me in the comments which book that you want and why. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and then go follow me on Instagram. I will have all of that information in the description box as well. So if you made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys. Is recruited